Alrighty. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, everybody? I am here. I am queer. Get used to it. I am going to be doing a little reading as promised for the third week of December. It's been a fucking wild one. If you have been alive, I'm sure you felt it. We are going into Capricorn season. We're going into a full moon in Cancer next week on the 26th. And a lot of feelings of like endings that have been coming for a long time, honey. We're opening up to the truest versions of ourselves and deciding that they gonna have to be loved. It is what it is. Last reading, we talked a lot about naming our needs, standing on business, having those needs be non-negotiable, having them be needs and not wants or just like absolutely non-negotiables. There's been a lot happening in the sky. The solar flares that we've been getting have been some of the strongest. Essentially, the sun is just spitting fire, girl. And that has been like activating a lot of our like solar plexus, along with our crown chakras. So a lot of like our intuition, our subconscious is like talking. If you've been experiencing like some wild dreams or some very like potent dreams, some dreams that you like feel or significantly like remember, especially if you're not used to remembering your dreams, you're right on track, sweetie. There's heaviness, but it's heaviness that we feel so that we can move towards the lightness. It's not heaviness like without a purpose. If your body or your spirit has been showing you that shit feels heavy, and showing you where it feels heavy in your body, where it feels heavy in your life, thank your intuition, thank your spirit, thank your friends, thank your family, anybody that's been like, hey, do you really want to go back there? Is that really what you want? Because like from over here, don't do it. I'm really proud of you for making those changes if you have, and for even thinking about them if you haven't made them yet. A big affirmation that I've been using, that's been repeating amongst my friends too, has been that I ask for the gift of discernment and for the self-love to act on that discernment. Clarity ain't nothing if you don't got the cojones to move upon that clarity. And a lot of the things that are coming up right now are things that we've been clear about, that we've had at least 1 or 2 or 3 rounds of us getting some intel and some insight about how that person, place, thing, or circumstance is affecting us. And I pray that you have the support internally and externally to make those brave choices, to just act on what you know. Another affirmation in the house right now is, I know what I know, I feel what I know, I see what I know, I am what I know. A lot of us that have come to affirmation work have really been introduced, I included, through the I am healthy, I am safe, I am. And that's very important, especially right now as we're working on this like sense of who we are, as the sun is like pouring into it and waking us up and being like, I'm gonna activate that, I'm gonna turn at it so that it's easier for you to make the choices you need to make to align with who you are and who you say you are. And that's also coming off of our Sag new moon kind of reflections. And this world has really asked us, like, who are you really? That shows up in what you support, the how you support, and how you like walk your values. So those are, oh yes. So coming back to the I am affirmations, and that there's also there's a prefix. So I am is the start of the affirmations that work towards stabilizing your root chakra. Every chakra has a little phrase that embodies that energy. So from your root, you have I am, because we got to know who we are at our base to be able to do any of that. I am. Your sacral chakra is I feel, right? Your solar plexus is, what is your solar plexus? I am, I feel. We'll come back. I'll post the little chart. But then I know it goes, heart chakra is I love, throat chakra is I speak, crown, third eye chakra is I see, crown is I know. So when you balance your I know with who you are, you're connecting to this like higher sense of self and connecting to this primal sense of self. And in the middle, all that goody good gets together. But right now, we're being asked to really stand on who we know ourselves to be by way of our experience in this world, and then who we're tapping into we could be, what this version of ourselves that is our higher version, our higher self, or our most loving self, our most ascended self, what have you, this godly self, our spirit self and our earth self, wrapping up, finding harmony and being like, oh, bet, that's what we on? Spirit self is like, that's what we on. And then you move. In Capricorn season, if anything, is about putting in the work of embodiment. Capricorn is business. But right now, we're not just talking about fucking capitalism business. We're talking about like the business of your life. The business of like, can you bring that rigorous, like, gotta go to work, gotta do the thing, da 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 da. Can we bring that into creating ourselves, the work of creating ourselves? That's not just artists' work, it's everyone's work. And despite the powers that be, that's our business on this planet. The business of you. How are we standing on the business of you? This really is just an extension of the last reading. As it goes, okay. Spirit, friends, and family. In the eyes of the Most High, what does the collective need to know this Capricorn season, just this next 2 weeks? Please give us a clear and concise message and allow me to be a clear and concise messenger. Ashe. 3 cards. Here we are. Okay. This might feel like a different kind of winter. And I'm being told to say, let it. If you have an understanding of what the last few winters have been like, and like you've been projecting that this winter it is going to be the same, Spirit's saying, yeah, hold on, I might surprise ya. Might surprise you, especially when it comes to our mental health. This is the 9 of Swords. This is upright. It's giving seasonal depression. It's giving seasonal depression. It's giving demons. Okay? It's giving sleep paralysis. It's giving nightmare. Alhamdulillah, it was in the reverse. And it was in our recent past kind of energy. So with this card, I really, really, really feel that we are in for, and we are being asked to allow ourselves to come out of this world in the winter where we're just wrapped up in our brains about everything and anything. Big capital how. How is this going to happen? How is that going to happen? What am I going to do for next year? What is it going to how is the world going to come back from this? How are people? Big how. How gives us night terrors. Because right now, more than we've been in our entire lives possibly, we're being called to surrender. And allow, because things feel so big and so like, how could we even possibly do this? It feels so impossible because it is impossible for our little brains and minds to comprehend. We are going through a change that is monumental in our psyches, the psyches not only of us as individuals, but as a collective, as a humanity. Nothing is going to be the same. So stop trying to project the same, especially mental state that you're used to having. Projecting the same way of working through problems, using your brain, hyperfixating on the how, I gotta get this done so that gets done. We're not problem solving the same way anymore. This is the old world. This is the way we used to do it. Thinking that so much was actually under our control than it was. It can be hella scary, but nigga, I'd rather not have night terrors that are just like to-do lists. Like, why are my demons to-do lists? Like, that's not very romantic. Like, that's not very magical. Like, if the questions before bed are how-based questions, if you're going to have how-based questions, I offer you the tool of dreaming. Instead of trying to problem solve through the lens of logic, through the lens and the rules and the structures, limitations really of how capitalism has raised you, where it's like, this is your responsibility and this is your responsibility and this is your, how are you going to make sure the clothes are clean and the bills are paid and like, we're being asked now to move away from an existence that is solely based on like being laborers for a system, and instead like to use our how in an imaginative way. If one of those to-do lists, like if the answer is, you ask yourself how, and the answer is like, get another job, I urge you to say, how could this get paid? Well, I just get a lump sum of cash that's just like dropped in my doorstep, like through a friend, or I get the bills, like the company just like has a backlog, and like they get all the people's bills fucked up, and so they just like pardon a bunch of the bills. How am I gonna get groceries? I have I win a gift card to Costco. We can use our house we can answer our house a different way. If this world is really changing into something more balanced, something more human, something more peaceful, how are problems solved in that world? Are they solved more communally? How am I gonna get my kids to, spend less time on the computer, or It's like, oh, well, maybe some new friends move in, or maybe, an answer that is like based on the village, maybe, I don't know. But what if these hows were answered through the lens of a kinder, more holistic, more playful, more village-based world? Because our humanity isn't just being triggered for nothing. We're not being triggered for nothing. We're being woken up to what's really important. And so we're leaving this state of being behind. We're allowing, either we are more imaginative with our house, or we just completely let them up. Like, nigga, I don't fucking know, but it'll get figured out. I don't know, but it'll get figured out. That's where I'm at. Sometimes I'll pepper it in with a little bit of how, and then I'm like, yeah, maybe my friend, picks me up, or how am I going to get to this? Or also hows that are really more based on a communal world is what's coming up. Because in the present, we have the Two of Wands. And I was just saying, like, look how different these energies are, bro. A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. You feel me? Still humble, still got 2 wands, but 2 wands is better than 1. This yellow, it's giving, look on the fucking bright side. Look on the bright side, like as if it's your job. Like if you taxed a Capricorn, business, Capricorn that's about the business, about the bag. And not just about the bag, the money bag, but like really securing a life, right? Discipline, devotion, obedience, routine, habit, limitations, Boundaries. Boundaries. If you had that energy and you were to use it to make your dream life. If they said, oh yeah, all of those miracles you pull at your 9 to 5, Monday to Friday or the weekends or whenever you be working, and you're able to get yourself up, you're able to use your brain, you're able to talk to people, you're able to type. If you had those hours back, but you kept the work ethic and you redirected that work ethic towards your heart, shit that makes your heart flutter. Come on, wings. Those are some baby wings. I ain't saying you gotta have the whole business plan, make a whole, again, we're not creating this new world in the same way we created the old world. But you can use all of your triumphs and all of the skills that you found out about being forced into a workforce, like, and say, what if I had all those hours in the day? Maybe not as many, again, because we're not working the same way that we was working, right? It's giving 3-day work week, 5 hours a day. You know what I mean? That's what's happening over here. But I'd be looking at my friends, bro, because the 9 to 5 has never worked for me. I was able to have a season. You know, I did my Sephora time. I did my American Apparel time. I did my La Senza time. I did my door knocking time for random ass, you know, Amnesty International. Like, I put in the hours. But I be looking at my friends that are still doing it in some way, shape, or form, and I'm like, nigga, like, if you had all these hours and you had all these skills and they were, and you still had all these skills and they were put towards, like, scheming a way for you and your friends to just do the shit that you love to do, to travel, to have the leisure time, to, like, build a hobby again, to work on your relationships. The two wands, the wands are about passion. The wands are about creativity, creation energy. If we got our creative energy back, the energy that is being usurped, being by the machine, capital M machine, that is dying, crumbling, that we're seeing with our power, our choices, our value system. We decided to stop shopping somewhere. We decided to stop using our money places. We decided to stop believing an old way of brainwashing. We decided to do our own motherfucking studying. We decided to ask our own questions about what's true and what's not. And we're seeing the reaches of our power. So what if, with two wands in your hand, you were given that power back, like you're taking it back now, like we're seeing that all these people that said nothing changes, the only thing we have, baby, is change. The only constant we have is change. So if we ride this change, if we're no longer, and we're given two wands in our hand, and we took stock, like I was saying in the other reading, of what we have to give, what we have to offer ourselves, where we think, where we're moved deeply enough in our bones and in our bodies to make a change, to say enough, to say I want more, to say not this. Where would you be? Bing, bing. What aspects of your life? You ain't got to do everything all at once. You actually can't. Choose one, choose two. Aspects of your life. Is it your social life? Is it the communication? Is it like your love life? Is it your family life? Is it where your passions are going? Is it your relationship first and foremost to yourself? Is it you and your mental health? Is it you and your body health? Your spiritual health? Is it you and your dog? Is it where are the aspects in your life where you want to ping, ping, pop the magic of these wands and start to look at and do inventory of where you'd like some more inspiration to flow through in your life. I've been tapping into my unhinged energy, just this like goofball that's just like doing weird shit, just being a little gremlin guy, and sharing that side of myself more and more. It doesn't have to be a whole overhaul, but what we're moving into, and we have to be really careful about, is this Magician in the reverse. You see, that nigga is definitely, that's the craziest one. You know what I mean? That's an upgrade from this one. That's the Big Daddy wand. The Magician is the major manifester. The Magician has air, earth, fire, water, has his emotions, has his passion, has his intellect, has its foundation, the groundedness of earth, all at his disposal. But this nigga was coming in reverse, and in the reverse, it's a lot of manipulation. We need to watch out for this. We need to watch out for what is happening now that this like these like powers that be are recognizing that we're recognizing our manifestation power, right? We're recognizing how much we can move, change, flip, dip, and what have you. There's going to be efforts to destabilize you every single time you start to get clear about what power is yours to use. There will be people who don't like who you're becoming now that you want to use your gifts for you. Now that we're Capricorn season, boundary season, now that you need space, time, you might be coming to this understanding that you actually need a little bit more processing time than you're used to. Because now you are like trying to be clear about what you feel. And respect your body. And your body is yelling at you to respect it anyways. That you're being asked to kind of look a little bit more in the details of what's good for you and what's not. What's around you that is like still, again, keeping you heavy. Keeping you going back and forth in your mind, confused. What conversations and people you're around who have a vision of you and your power, your light, what makes you special, what makes you you. They might have like an idea for them about what that is. But it might not be resonating anymore. And you might want to step into a version of yourself that feels more familiar to you, but might feel less familiar to the people or the places or the circumstances around you. That's okay. It's gonna happen. Capricorn season is about standing on who you are and how you are going to work who you are into the world. The how is important when it's self-defined. We just got to make sure that our hows are not based off, like, how am I going to live, how am I moving, how am I speaking, are not based off external influences that do not have your individuality at heart. Because then we're going to be moving into Aquarius season, and Aquarius season is all about the I in the we and the we in the I. About what our position is as individuals in a collective. And what responsibility the collective has for sustaining the individual. The human life. Capricorn is often talked about in this like really masculine kind of like discipline kind of way. But I recently listened to, and I can't remember who it was, but praise to you, who was talking about Saturn, who is Capricorn's, one of Capricorn's rulers, who has a relationship to, who is actually also very feminine based on how many moons. Like Saturn got a lot of moons. And we know that the moon is traditionally a feminine polarity, or like an energy that is like receptive and intuitive and you know, about the mother, about how Saturn is actually more of this maternal energy. I don't know a black woman, a black mother, that doesn't cross her T's and dot her I's with, like, I don't know a black mother that doesn't stand on business. And that's the energy that we're looking at, because also this full moon that we're coming in, the last full moon of the year, is in Cancer. Cancer is the mom of the zodiac. The emotional realm of us. Hello. The emotional realm of us that if you're human, you require nurturing, period. And we're moving away from a world that devalues nurturing, that devalues emotional labor, that devalues emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence, that devalues a spiritual nature in humans, that hyper focuses on the physical, the things that we can see with our two eyes. Next year, I'm telling y'all, you won't need these so much, honey. You're gonna be seeing things with these that you never thought you would see before, ever. God's about to jump us, respectfully. Especially if you've been doing the work to clear out all the shit that just like doesn't resonate with you, that you're bored of. It doesn't even have to be things that are abusing you. It can just be things that like, I don't resonate with that anymore. I actually don't like watching TV as much as I used to, whatever, in that relationship or with those friends. Or I like actually, I want to use my energy in another way. And let it be in a way that nurtures, that respects, and that protects, and that encourages. That quiet sense of self that has been there since you were a child. I encourage you to tap in to the information you already have about who you are as you dream up and use your wands and your power to move yourself forward. And I'm telling you, watch not just the people around you, but watch how internally you start to like fall off believing that you actually have the power. When the doubt sets in, when it gets too uncomfortable, when too many people or like not enough people are actually doing that thing that you want to do around you. Any of the self-defeating kind of self-sabotaging behavior, we make those choices because they come from coping that has kept us safe up until now. It worked. We don't need to shame those parts of ourselves. All we need to do is look at the story of who we are. Are you really difficult to be around? Do you really talk too much? Or are the people around you, maybe they don't talk enough? Are you really not a good listener? Or have you been around people and been in environments that don't have any interest in listening to you? or are forcing you to listen to them and not yourself. Because there's some beautiful, beautiful gifts and wonders that, nigga, I promise you be like, I didn't deserve this. Like, what shit that's unwarranted that is coming in for us. If shit is crumbling, let it. Things fall apart before they come together. Things fall together more than they fall apart. But make sure that you're standing on the protection of the world that you want to belong to. What are the habitual, little routine, little sticky note, snack size ways that you can continuously discipline and obedience is and new habits are formed like anything by repetition. How can you meet yourself where you're at? Yesterday I was talking about the Lysol wipes, how I use Lysol wipes because they're super easy. They're one step versus like a paper towel and a psh psh. If I have one step, I'm probably more likely to do it than if I have two. Instead of shaming, blaming, judging myself for being like, oh, nothing, that's bad, it's worse for the environment. I don't know if it is, probably is. But like, I'm also trying to do what's good for the environment for me. Like, the environment needs a healthy nigga. So that includes a clean space for me. So I'm gonna meet myself where I'm at to make sure I actually get the task done versus do it a certain way that I was told, oh, it's supposed to be this way. Throw out should. I should be able to. Throw out it's supposed to. Throw it out. Because I can assure you that a lot of those were formed trying to like exist in a world that just wants you to be robot. Let's get interested in the specific way that you do things. How can we accept the way we work as individuals, as Nasser? This is how I do it. It still gets done. Because then I'm less judgmental and I'm less prone to trying to manipulate others to do things my way, to come into my world. It's not just other people that are going to be doing that to us. We also do it to others. But that only happens when we're trying to assert our power in the way that capitalism taught us, which is like dominate, crush, your way is the way, ego. Once you find out how to do it and it works for you, that's the only way. And if people aren't doing it that way, I realize the judgments. But recognize, are you judging, like, is that judgment like actually, is it helping anybody, or is it actually keeping you from respecting another way of life? Keeping you from maybe learning, trying a different way of embodying your power, trying on a different tool. You also aren't just stuck to the tools or the skills that have been supported by capitalism and by your friends and by the things that people, like, again, value you for. What are those hidden aspects of yourself or the parts of yourself you've wanted to expand? They don't have to be important to other people. As long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting nobody, the way that you do things is sacred. I'm curious about how we can make this work for you. Because the more we understand how we work, how our mechanics, what is the mental health going on? What is it? Why is my body moving this way? How do I get things done? How do I make manifest the world around me and like myself in the world? You deserve for it to be specific to you. And the more you accept that the more open and honest you'll be about your limitations, about what's not going to work. Once you can notice, hey, this is how I work and this is how it is, this is how I need it. If you have other people, places, things that are clashing, it doesn't all have to be about them. It can just be, they don't go together. What I'm learning is the way that I want to work and the way that you want to work don't go together. That might not mean the relationship has to change, but what we're asking of each other, our expectations, might need to shift. The expectation of myself might need to shift. I can't move the same way I used to move. I can't do things the same way I used to do them. My brain literally refuses. So instead of putting so much value on that version of Nasra, that I then disrespect and discard this disabled version of myself. I don't think anybody deserves to be discarded. I think everyone on this planet has something beautiful about them just because they exist. No matter how they work, no matter how their mechanism. That's because I'm learning to not judge and compare myself to a version that capitalism would very much rather I be. White supremacy would very much rather I be. Which is genuinely like a slave. No. No. I fucking refuse. We will not be manipulated, and we do not need to manipulate. Manipulate is a neutral thing, it's changing things around you, but we do not need to manipulate our power, rather. When you know, I know what I know, I see what I know, I am what I know, you get to be what you are, and others get to be what they are. Yes. I get to use the tools I have. If you ain't getting those tools and you don't think they're valuable, that's on you. But then I get to make a boundary and keep it pushing, because I will create what's destined for me. I am here to enjoy myself. God forbid I enjoy my incarnation. I learned something. And you could swap out these wands anytime. I'm out here juggling all my interests, because the way that I work is I learned that it's not that I get bored, but I get bored sometimes. And I need to pivot. I like to keep things fresh. But my commitment to myself, which is also Capricorn seasons, commitment, devotion. My commitment is I will always come back to these particular pillars. These are the values I've chosen. These are the things that I've decided are important in my life. I will just keep coming back to them. I have been coming back to the guitar since I was 15 years old. My entire commitment to her is that I keep coming back. That's it. It's not, I got to stay for this long, or I got to do it. I keep coming back to you. You are still in my world, and you're not going anywhere. Because I see myself, and I feel like myself when I play guitar. There's a balance of detachment and attachment, connection. Let it go. If you know what you know, let it go. If it's meant for you, it's gonna come back around. I am committed to myself. I am committed to my truth. I am devoted to myself. I am devoted to my truth. And those commitments and those devotions and the work that makes them up connects me to others' commitments and devotions and the work that makes them up and the work that makes us up. Because we will continually be asked to dream a world, work for a world that includes us all. When we accept ourselves and our powers and our tools, we open ourselves up to accept the power and the tools of others. The dreams. When you don't have it in you, somebody else might. There's no care without community, and there's no community without care. There's no home without nurturing, and there's no nurturing without feeling at home in ourselves and in the work. I love you. My crusty blowout loves y'all. Happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating. I pray you're wrapped in the deepest and juiciest of love for yourself and for the people around you, and that you're reminded that this shit is a lot more simple than we've been made out. It's been made out to be. Everything you want makes sense. The peace you want makes sense. The safety you want makes sense. And I pray you have the discernment to be clear and the heart to take action on that clarity. Happy Capricorn season. Happy full moon. Be kind to each other. We all we got.